so that Copper's
Now everyone's going to be silent.
Kathy, I love your new background.
I've had this one for a while. I'm just
Sorry
using
about
it so you
that.
can't see the mess behind me. Because I'm actually home and not in the office.
Oh, Kathy, is there a good time that I should pick up my water bottle tomorrow?
What you just keep trying, and if I'm not there, you can always go over to campus police, and have them let you in. It's on the table in my office.
Thank you. Thank you.
I feel like this is so weird. I'm so used to having my glasses on. So like I keep going to like fix my glasses, but they're not there. But the glare is really annoying. Like I don't know why. It's weird. But we have quorum, right? Wait, one?
Yeah, you have quorum. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, you have quorum.
Okay,
So
awesome.
you don't have anyone taking notes though.
Yeah, that's right. I haven't heard anything from Josina as to whether or not she
I'm
was
sure
coming.
she's going to be here. I know with the time change, she's having issues with Cooper wanting to go to bed at like, super early. So she may just be putting him to bed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we are recording, so she can always pull notes from that.
Okay. Why don't we do that then, so we're not going too late? And I apologize in advance. My brain is, I don't know. I'm not sure what is going on, but my brain's kind of out in left field today. I'm struggling a little bit. But oh, what did I just do? Okay. I think no. All right, I got you back. It's fine. All right. Oh, sorry. Okay, so I officially call this meeting to order at 6:04 p.m. Let me just so something I think I'm gonna start doing is actually calling out for attendance because I know like sometimes the recordings don't, like, you can't see who's in the meeting in the recordings. So when I say your name, just say here, and then you'll pop up on the screen. So when Justina takes notes, it'll show up that you're here. Nikki?
Here.
Ben?
I'm here.
Cody?
Present.
Eli?
Hi, I'm here.
Azu?
Here.
And currently Mindy is not here. Justina is not here. Oh my gracious. Sarah is not here. Ren is not here, but she's excused.
Missing Corey too, right?
Corey's no longer on the SGA. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm missing somebody.
We're missing Sarah.
Yeah, I said Sarah. Wait, what? I'm sorry, my brain's not working.
I think you're good. You got Sarah, Justina, Mindy, and Ren, because you're 10 members, and you got 6 of you here.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. My brain's not fully
So
functioning.
Ren
today.
is the only one that's excused right now.
Yep. Okay. And then if somebody comes in, we'll add them to the list. But so far, that's what we've got. So did everybody get a chance to look at the meeting minutes from October 11th and October 25th?
Yes.
Yep. Got a chance to look at the 25th, but not the 11th.
Okay. Would you like me to share my screen?
I have it right here. I just hadn't
Oh,
had
you
a chance
do?
to look at it yet.
Okay, has everybody else had a chance to look at it? Yes? Okay, so why don't we just give Ben a moment to just look over that real quick. And then and just let us know when you're good to go, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to take forever just reviewing this while we're not talking. So if you guys
Yeah.
want to go forward, I can read this while, yeah, it's fine.
You can share your screen and you can just show us what you're talking about as well.
Oh, why don't we so everybody did get to read October 11th though, right? Okay, so why don't we vote on that real quick and then we can go over October 25th if we need to. But I'd like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from October 11th.
Second.
So the order we would do that is somebody would have to say so moved and then somebody would second that.
I'm so confused.
No, that's okay.
So moved.
Second.
Awesome. And Sarah just got here at 6:07 p.m. Okay, cool. Any discussion on the minutes? I would say something that I found is there are a few spelling errors in the names specifically, and then other spelling errors throughout the minutes. So just that needs to be fixed. Anybody else? No. Okay.
I think the only other thing that I'm noticing is that the student body liaison doesn't have a name next to it. So just make sure that's added, I guess.
For the October 11th minutes?
The 25th, I'm sorry.
Okay, we'll get there in just a moment. But thank you. So everybody with the October 11th minutes, any other discussion on that? Okay. So after being updated with the spelling, after all the spelling is done and everything, can I get all in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
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 Okay. All opposed? No? Okay. The motion passes. The minutes are just gonna be revised. But the motion passes. All right, moving on to October 25th. Everybody, we lost Sarah, I think.
I'm still here. I'm just moving to better
Sarah's still here.
connection.
Never mind. My
Sorry.
bad. Wait, did we lose somebody? Or is it just me? That just... I don't know. It might just be me. I'm sorry. Okay, so October 25th. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from October 25th.
So moved.
So second.
I second.
All right, moved by Cody, seconded by Ben. All right, any discussion? Something that I again would say is the spelling needs to be corrected, and then an extra guest that we had who is not on the minutes is we had a Gabriel who joined us last week, not last week, but for the last meeting. So that also needs to be added on there. But mainly the spelling. Any other discussion? No? Okay. Also, I do have the names of the people from the SAC meeting who were elected. It was sent out in the minutes. So I can also update Justina with that as well. All in favor of approving the minutes with the revisions?
I
Aye.
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 All opposed? No? Okay, motion passes. Both of the minutes were approved, but have to be revised a little bit. Alrighty. So next is like kind of I wanted to do like a little debrief of the conference. I know everybody went to different spots. So we had representation in every area of the conference. I know Ren was a part of that because she went to a conference that was that nobody else was in. But I would like to see, I mean, if we could briefly go over kind of what the thoughts were of the conference and like what did you guys think for the different workshops?
So I went to the same one that Chloe went to for the first workshop, and the second workshop I was with Corey. And I had both of them send me the PowerPoint presentations in the notes for those workshops, so I can share that to the rest of the SGA if you're interested. I think it's really good information. The first one was mainly job searching and resume building, which obviously is good for our career services office. And our second one was branding yourself online and how to kind of work with your marketing team to create events and create meaningful events that can use the college branding to the best effect. I think both of those are good to share.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything they wanted to share from the conference? Good, bad, anything they learned that they think would be useful for the SGA as a whole?
Other than realizing I got a lot of practice to do on my own dancing, my favorite bit was Jason Levasseurs. And while it's like an upbeat, he sang and stuff like that, one of the cool things he did was he got up on the podium and faced the crowd, and he asked everyone to play a little bit of drums on their legs. And he purposely mismatched the word with his actions that he was doing. And it was trying to teach us a lesson about how, even though we know what we know, communicating effectively to make sure the person gets exactly what they need is important. And sometimes those wires get crossed. Even though we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, the perspective could be all off. And I just thought it was just a beautiful way to, to talk about it and have such a fun experience. It was probably the highlight of my trip there, on top of hanging out with you guys, of course.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, I thought that was also really good, like, because there's like, he made a very good point, like, often, like, somebody will say something and then do something, like, totally different, and if we're not paying attention, we'll just blindly follow that and not really think about, like, so there's also that aspect, which I thought was kind of cool, that I didn't think about, but, Ezu, were you gonna say something?
Oh yeah, I went to the What's Behavior Got to Do with It conference, which was really good, and I think that we should probably advocate more for that because Melissa Manzi does a lot of activities like focused on or centered on helping people with anxiety. And I think a lot of us have anxiety, and I think it'd be helpful for a lot of people if they knew where to go for that. And she was talking about how not many people usually show up or know people at all.
Okay, so you're saying like that's something that we should, as SGA, start promoting a little bit more, like that is a service we have? Okay.
Promoting, yeah.
Okay. Ben?
Just kind of jump on what Cody was talking about with Jason doing the drum thing and teaching us that. My big takeaway from that is, was, you really want to be the example. You want to be the driver, and you want to be the person that people want to emulate. That was the biggest thing for me. And I think that will go a long way, especially teaching future SGA people that come in here, is kind of showing them that, hey, the people that are looking up to the SGA or even to anyone in their classroom, be the example that you want them to be.
Awesome, thank you. And Nikki?
I also went to one of Jason's workshops. I went to Survive or Die, and that was about like critical decision making. So what we were given tasked to do was, there was a list of 14 people, like a brief description of them. And we had to pick 5 people to save from a zombie apocalypse. No one was a great option to save. Everyone had some sort of issue or problem, and you had to pick 5 people, and you had 10 minutes, and you had to do it in a group. And it really taught you not only just critical decision making, but being open to other people's opinions in a group. If someone disagrees with you, it's okay. Everybody, as long as you hear everyone out. I picked a person that no one else in the group picked, and people were actually offended that I picked this person. So I had to explain to the room why I picked this person. But after hearing my opinion, they sort of changed their tone about it. They're like, okay, I understand from your point of view now. So I think it really teaches you to be open-minded to what everyone has to say.
Yeah, thank you, Nikki. Yeah, because I was one of those people who was like so confused with your thinking there. I was like, whoa. But yeah, something that I also took away from that same workshop is like, oftentimes we do make assumptions based on like the little knowledge that we have, and we shouldn't be doing that as leaders, because it's or like even in general, because like information there is limited. Like you don't know what the whole situation is, like just by like 5 descriptive keywords. Like that's not, that's not enough to really be like, I don't know, good decision making. You have to put a little more thought into it than that. So yeah, I really enjoyed that workshop as well. Did anybody else have any highlights, takeaways?
The understanding your abilities workshop was really cool. They gave us like a test in German, and like it kind of like simulated how it feels to have dyslexia. And I thought it was interesting. And they talked a lot about celebrities with disabilities and solutions to problems. I thought that was nice.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Something we got to do as a group with branding yourself online towards the end is Mike had asked us to create banners that would quote unquote advertise CCSLA to the highway, and how to effectively do that. So we had to get in groups and kind of say, okay, from what we learned today in this class, what can we put on this banner that's going to most effectively communicate where it is, when it is, and get people interested in actually coming to it. And it was a nice little exercise in getting ideas from different people, and like all the cool things that we could do. Obviously it's not like a finished product, it's just a quick 2-minute thing. So that was really nice to be able to do that, and to kind of see what we came out with on the end, and the different ideas that the groups had for making this banner.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm trying to look through my notes as well. So did anybody else have anything? I was just almost curious, like the networking. Oh, Cody, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, literally just what you're saying. The networking, being able to, the downtime to hang out with all the other colleges and see exactly what's going on their campus. I kind of cheated and had this talk with Kathy a little bit earlier, but one of my favorite parts of the conference was that short window that was extended way beyond where we're supposed to, where all the colleges got up and talked about their college a little bit. That was pretty cool. We need a radio station on campus. That would be pretty dope, right? I didn't know that campuses had radio stations or these extra things until, they brought up there and showed off all their best stuff. It was cool.
Awesome. And kind of like, I don't know, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good time. I also thought it was a good time for us, like as a group, to kind of connect and get to know each other a little bit more, because like obviously I don't get to see you guys all the time. So when I'm, when we're at a conference together, it's kind of hard not to be with each other. So I thought it was good, not only networking with other like colleges and everything, but it was a good like connecting thing for us as a team, as a band, as Jason would call it. So yeah, I thought it was really awesome. So Nikki, did you have something else?
Yeah, one thing I loved during one of the presentations was how they implemented the president's list and the dean's list for part-time students. 'Cause we
Oh,
only currently do it for full-time students that take 12 credits or more. And I thought that was amazing because part-time students should be recognized too for all the efforts that they put in.
yeah, thank you for sharing. Maybe that's something the SGA can look at and kind of, I mean, I don't know if there's more that goes into it, but as SGA we can definitely talk about that, and if that's something that we want to try and make a move on, we can work on that as well. So yeah, that's definitely something to think about. Like if anybody learned anything like about like Cody, you said the radio stations and stuff. I'm not sure how that would work exactly. But this stuff we can look into. So if you had any takeaways that you're like, I actually want to act on this, like as a SGA as a whole, yeah, we can definitely look at that, and see how we can start, maybe hopefully working on that and getting it implemented into our college, because we want to be able to create different opportunities for students and everything, and keep them involved and happy to be here. Um, so very cool. Anybody else have anything they wanted to add?
This is another kind of takeaway just because I was talking with Kathy in the interim after the conference. I think it would be a good idea to when we do ways and means in the committees to really talk about meeting more often and maybe even having additional committees to do things, because I think not only me, but other people in the SGA are starting to get a fire lit under them and like, okay, we really want to do things. We want to either add things or change things or do things and make the college better for our students. Even the niche that we had, I went to that and there are some things I didn't even know that other colleges are doing that I didn't know about. And I'm like, why do we not know about these things? And I'm not even talking about different colleges from other parts of the state, but our own college, for example, like the Fitchburg side has a dental program that I didn't even know existed. So things like that, I think we really need. I have a fire under my butt. I don't know about everyone else, but I really want to start thinking about getting the committee meetings a little more often, and maybe even more groups in that to help facilitate that, so we can bring relevant topics up to these meetings, so that these meetings are not forever in a day.
So actually, it's funny that you bring that up, Ben, because we are going to talk a little bit about that later on as well. It's not on the agenda because it kind of came up afterwards. But we're going to talk a little bit more about committee stuff as well as we go along. And I love watching that. You were just talking and the bird was just on your, that's just so entertaining. But anybody have any other discussion on the conference? No? Alrighty, well, I guess we will be moving on then. Alright, so let's move on to reports. Alrighty, Constitution Committee, Sarah?
Nothing to report.
Okay. Ways and Means Committee, Eli?
Oh, hello. How's it going? Yeah, we actually had a pretty meaningful meeting, I feel like. I started off by talking about advocating for a lot of groups on campus and talking about the work I did, just visiting with people, going over their budgets and things like that. But, something that I wanted to alleviate was the fixing the budget of trying to take back the money from the nurses allocation in the Constitution. Trying to fix that. So I don't know how to like move that though, like as an idea of reallocating that money to back to student groups. It's about $2,000. So I would move to just move those percentage points to student groups, what we have allocated. So that'd bump their funding up to another 2,000 about.
Okay. I am a little confused on that, but that might be just because I haven't been going to the Ways and Means Committee meetings. But maybe if you,
Yeah, I can share some more details if you'd like.
maybe. So I'm trying to like think of.
Well, when I first got to the treasurer position, I went with, went to Kathy and was just going over the budget. And I guess at one point the school nurse was putting on little events and fairs and using that money for, health advocacy and like little meetings and whatever is going on campus. But when the student nurse left, that money was still allocated to the student nurse. So I think Kathy said she used it to hire someone for AIDS Awareness Month. And I thought it would be better used and utilized by student groups at this time, just to offer more transparency to what the money is actually going towards. And it's something that we can vote on actively. And if the problem is, student groups not doing enough, so we've always been really worried about advocating for those groups. And if another $2,000 seems like it would really benefit just everyone and the liaisons, anybody reaching out to groups saying, there's just that much more extra money for everyone to do something.
All right. Yeah, thank you for clarifying because I was a little confused for some reason when you said nurses. I immediately was like, they have money for their program or their club or like I don't know, and then I don't know what I thought. But thank you for clarifying. Ben, did you have something as well?
Yeah, I was just gonna help clarify that, what it was for. Yeah, it's basically we had a school nurse. The position is now currently open, and part of prior SGA's decisions was to allow or allocate some of the money that is collected from student activity fees when students apply to or come to the college, to reallocate some of that percentage to the nurse to help them hold events. But since that position is now open and no one's really using it, we just are like, okay, so we should think about reallocating that money back to either clubs or someone else.
Okay, thank you again for clarifying. And Nikki, did you have something as well?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a follow-up conversation in Ways and Means. Because I didn't feel like we really all agreed. I don't think it's something for a motion, honestly, that would be voted on tonight, because during that meeting, it did not seem like all of us were on the same page. I know I personally have some more questions about it, so I'd definitely like to go over like another meeting with that.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for that input. We're definitely gonna hold off on that. And Kathy, did you have something as well?
Sorry, I was trying to find the, I was just pulling up the SGA bylaws, and it has in there how the allocation is divided up. Let me just share my screen so you can all see it. So you see here where it says expending funds, this is section 5 of the bylaws. So the SGA is allotted a certain amount of money each year out of student activities fees. And then it is divided up according to this percentage. So you have 69.5% of what's given to you is divided up this way. So we have healthcare center, which
Kathy, could you please increase the
sorry, hang on.
Thank you.
Is that better? Okay.
Yep.
So so we have a portion of it that goes to the healthcare center, which is the nurse's office. And as Eli and Ben said, That position is currently vacant. There was somebody in that position until through last December. So all the money that was allocated last fiscal year to that position was spent by the healthcare. And then this year, there's an additional allocation. And like Eli said, it's just under $2,000. So I was intending to potentially use this for like mental health programming or something of that nature. But, you know, if the SGA wants to relook at how this money is distributed and potentially look at using that money towards student organizations, this falls under the purview of the SGA. So this is in the this document is in an on involvement under SGA. So this is your current bylaws, constitution and bylaws. And I see a typo here that this didn't get updated. So anyways, so this is something that this was voted on a number of years ago prior to my time at the college in 2012. So I don't know when this determination, these percentages were determined, but it's absolutely something the SGA can look at if they choose to.
Nikki has a question. She wants to know, how do we find out what percentage of our student activities fee actually goes to student activities?
So that would be something that Cody, as your trustee, could probably request that. He may actually have access to the budget, which should have the line items. If not, he can request it and get that. And that's something that you could all look at and then determine how you might want to divvy things up. Or, you know, even if you wanted to ask for more funding, it just depends.
Yeah, I think the major, not disagreement, but the major thing that we were kind of thinking during our committee meeting was really just seeing a breakdown to make sure that if we wanted to agree on bringing a motion to the SGA for reallocating those funds, we know exactly what we're asking for.
I don't know if that's an issue. Like, I don't think anyone was in disagreement. I'd like to hear a disagreement, but I mean, I think we have to move on this sooner than later, because we can wait, but student organizations need funding to do things, and we should advocate now. Like, the holidays are coming up. This is just going to be pushed off indefinitely. Like, if we keep waiting, personally, like the student organizations come to me, and they like, why wouldn't we just make this available? We can always, if you guys have such a strong feeling about it, we can always change it back if it's like, oh no, we made a mistake. But right now, making it available to people who actually can use it would feel better. I think would seem better and be a motion of good faith, instead of worrying about, you know, where the money is and where it's not, when groups come to us. Because right now we're going to groups and saying, well, there's not enough. Like, Kathy's told me that, you know, it's kind of passed on the grapevine that the art club, for example, wants to do a huge trip to New York. There's not enough money for you. Like, I just think that's unacceptable to me. Like, if they want to do something, if they're motivated, we should say, let's find that money for you. Let's fight for you, instead of just reserving judgment on money that's not even being used.
Thank you, Eli. So I think this is definitely something that we're gonna have to push to the Ways and Means, like the committee meeting itself, for more discussion. Because it sounds like it's a much bigger thing. I know, Cody, you have your hand up, and Nikki does as well. That's definitely something that's gonna be pushed. Oops, I just lost all of you. Oh, never mind. Okay, because the screen share went.
Yeah, sorry, I stopped the screen share so I can.
No, that's okay. I just totally missed that for some reason. Cody, did you have something you wanted to mention while we're on the topic?
Yeah. First up, obviously, this is going to have to be for the committee meeting, but I want to put up that I have the information. I can comb through it, have everything prepared for that meeting, and then we can sit down and have an actual discussion about the solid numbers. Because it's very hard to, we could talk vagaries and about like, this is where the money should be going, or this is where it shouldn't be going. But it's hard to have an actual conversation with a plan to move forward, wherever that may be, without actually seeing the actual percentages and actual numbers. So let me get that. I'm more than welcome to share with any of you after the meeting, the notes that I have. And when I'll obviously come together, be more prepared with you guys, and we can have really hash it out and nail some of this stuff down and figure out what we want to go from there.
That's perfect. Thank you so much, Cody. And Nikki, you also had a comment.
Thank you, Cody. I think that's what I was looking for. I'm not completely opposed to passing this, but I want to see all the figures. I understand that, ELA wants to move on this, and I completely understand why, but I don't think taking one more meeting to go over the figures to make sure that we're not making a quick rash decision about transferring money, it should be a big problem. We should always be careful with the way that we're allocating and transferring money.
But I mean, you're talking about percentage points that we even know about. Like, these are the percentage points we know about. I'm not talking about, you're saying you're trying to split ends about the student money, like the money that's coming into us, like the budget, the gray numbers there. I'm not talking about that. This is the actual numbers on the budget that we can see, those small percentage points. I mean, if we want to allocate more later, I think that's an argument, but holding back, I mean, AIDS Awareness Month is December. Like, if we're going to stop Kathy or anybody else from using this money and save it for student groups, that conversation can't happen if that money's gone. So this is starting now. And I mean, what are we waiting for? I don't.
And I understand, I
you were
appreciate your
there, but
opinion, I just have a differing opinion
your
on it.
connection was broken the entire time. Like, everybody else was in agreement. I don't think anyone else was opposed.
I was opposed, so
Yeah,
I don't know what you're saying.
yeah.
What were you opposed for? I don't understand, Ben. You were playing
I-
devil's advocate, but in the meeting
Right,
today in
'cause I'm
Kathy's
trying to
office, you said that was
Let's
you
talk
were
about
in
it.
agreement.
Let's talk about it at the next committee meeting, because this is getting deeper into something that it doesn't need to be in the SGA right this second, I think.
Yeah, thank you, Ben. Kathy, did you have something real quick you wanted to mention?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I can tell you that money isn't earmarked for anything right now. So it's not gonna go away in the next 2 weeks. It's not gonna get spent anywhere. It hasn't been, I haven't said, oh, let's spend it on such and such. So you don't have to worry about it disappearing. And you haven't had any student organizations ask for any funding yet either. So it's not like you have like the money, like you're out of money to give to student organizations. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the thing is, like, this semester is coming to an end. So, like, during the meeting, I was trying to say, like, if we're trying to think about it logically, like, how much should we save for this semester versus next semester? If a group comes to us, how much do we hold off and how much do we give them? It's just like the art club is planning a trip and they're going to ask us last minute kind of thing, sadly. But this is how it goes. Like, they haven't made these proposals. They haven't come up with things. But as it gets closer to the end of the year, we're going to have to promise them money or just pretend like, we know what's going to happen next semester. A bigger cushion of money would just feel better to me to say, yeah, whatever you want to do within a certain threshold, it would feel better because we have an extra $2,000 to fall back on.
So, I just, for the sake of saving this conversation for Tuesday, I just had two things I wanted to add. One is we are not supposed to be fully funding, like, if an organization, granted, yes, a New York trip is fairly expensive, but they also need to be able to, like, they have all semester, the end of the semester and all of the spring semester to be able to do fundraising for that. So they have to also be able to raise quite a bit of money to be able to help send them all there. It's not all going to be on us. And it's also kind of like, if that's something that they're thinking of, I mean, there's only so far in advance you can know those things, like how many people are going. But if that's something they're thinking about, it shouldn't be like a last minute decision. You know what I mean? So I feel like
I asked Kathy, like, how far in advance do they have to put it up? And there's no timeline. They can ask the day before if they wanted to, but in the student handbook, it even says it's only recommended that they ask for 10% or 30% of what they're fundraising for. It's only recommended. So I don't think that's an issue either.
But we also have to think of it as like, I mean, I know I'm carrying this on. It should be a committee meeting thing. But I feel like we shouldn't just be, like if another organization comes to us and is asking for something to go on a smaller trip, then I mean, or even in general, like if somebody comes first to the SGA and that's something that they had gone through the whole process and everything, then that's something that would come up first. And whereas if art club waits that long, I mean, it all kind of depends. It's kind of like, I don't want to say it's a first come first serve basis, but it's also like who's gonna put in the work to also earn it as well. It's not like we're just giving it away. In some cases we are, but like the wreath thing, you know, that's different. But I feel like that we'll table that and something that you guys can discuss at the committee meeting. I will try to make it to that meeting. But we'll definitely just continue this conversation at the Ways and Means meeting next Tuesday. Cool. All right, so we're just gonna move on for now. Unless there's any urgent discussion, but I think we'll just wait until Tuesday and talk about that. So next we're gonna move on to student trustee Cody.
So you guys remember the report from last time? That was pretty long. I'm afraid to say that this one's going to be way shorter. I haven't had a trustee meeting since then, and I haven't heard word from when the next one's going to be, but I assume that's going to be filling my inbox pretty soon. So nothing to report.
Alrighty. So for Student Advisory Council, there's nothing new to report because we haven't had any meetings, but I wanted to give you the names of the people who were elected, except for the fact that I just totally lost that email. Oh, never mind, I got it. Because I think everything else was covered. The gender neutral bathrooms and OERs were talked about. But the Board of Higher Education voting member is Travis Lawrence. He's also the SAC chair. Robert, I'm sorry, I'm gonna pronounce these names wrong. Robert Hudding and Andrew Whitcomb are Board of Higher Education student advisors. Mari, who most of you met at the conference, actually, she's the SAC vice chair. Mark, who actually I also met in person. I didn't meet him in person, but I did see him in person when I was touring Framingham State. So that was kind of cool. But Mark Haskell is the SAC Public Relations Chair. Cindy Mack is the SAC Policy Chair. And then our next meeting is December 8th, so we won't have anything new from that. But I just wanted to give you the names of the people who are representing one on the Board of Higher Education and two the elected members from Student Advisory Council. Any questions on that? Nope. Maybe? Nope. Okay. Student body liaison. Ben, do you have anything?
So yes. So as I mentioned earlier, some of the students over at the Fitchburg campus wanted to make sure that we knew that there was a dental program and to help spread that. I also was talking to some facility members or faculty members, I should say, I'm sorry, and realizing that some of the faculty members don't even know about Kumo Space and that we staff that. So one of the things that I kind of proposed to Cody and some others that I would love to maybe bring up to the SGA is to really think about utilizing QR codes as a way to easily link to about pages, to Kumo Space, to whatever the college like needs to promote. I think if we kind of show that students are willing to use those to find out more or to find out when events are happening, I think it's just going to be easy access versus they might see a flyer, but then they instantly forget about it because they're on the way to class. It's easy enough to snap a picture of a QR code and then save it for after class.
Sorry, David was in the background. But yes, Ben, that's awesome. Thank you for that input. And actually, we do have a marketing committee now. So Ben, I'd like to see you work with the marketing committee because you are the contact point for SGA. So if students come to you with suggestions like that, I'd like to see you work with the marketing committee, which is currently Justina and Nicole. Justina's the chair, Nicole's vice chair. But I'd like to see you work with the marketing committee on that, because that's definitely something that we can definitely move forward with that. That's an easier thing, probably. I think. I mean, I don't know how any of that works. QR codes are mystical things.
I have a generator,
That's not
so
the
it's
right
easy enough
word.
for me to do. But yeah, you're right. I think working with the marketing committee is going to be a huge benefit for the college and for me to say to students, hey, if there's anything that you want to see advertised or ways to advertise, and I mean that's part of the reason I took the branding thing at the conference is
Yeah.
because I thought that would be really beneficial to move into that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna add you to the marketing committee, so you can be part of their meetings, and just so you can give that information because that's important information to know. If students are saying that would be easier for them to have QR codes on that rather than just seeing the flyer, that's something we definitely can work on. Awesome, thank you. Anything else from student body liaison?
The other thing, and I know that it's being worked on still, is there's been commentary that, again, Blackboard is a little difficult to use. It's dated. I know that we're replacing it. I've just been reminding people that it is being replaced, and they're like, oh, right, it's going to be replaced at the worst time when we're just getting started and no one knows where rooms are again. And it was a little bit of a snarky response to how things are planned and put out. So I definitely want to be in front of that so that it's done correctly.
Okay. Thank you. Something else that we can definitely talk about, and I can put that I'll just have to remember to put that on the agenda for next time around. Sorry. Okay. Thank you. Let's see. Where am I at now?
That is it for me, by the way.
Okay, thank you. Academic Senate, Cody, anything new?
Same as the trustee. Nothing to report. There's a meeting this 15th, but until then, got nothing.
Okay. Awesome. Academic Environment and Technologies Committee, which is Mindy. This is the second meeting that she's not here. And I believe it's only 2 unexcused absences, right? Or is it? It's 2. Okay. Okay. So I guess we'll have to talk about that. So we have nothing from Academic Environment and Technologies. Ready Education Committee, Nicole. Thank you, first of all, for typing out, and actually Cody for last meeting too. It's awesome that you can type out basically your report from the different committees. That's working out really well. I'll talk a bit about that after. But did you have anything you want to share?
Yeah, I'll try to be really quick. I won't take too long, I promise. So they talked about the goals for the app, and some of the things that they had that was discussed for goals is that it's a one-stop shop for all students to streamline the communication, increase visibility for events, meet students where they are, communicate with cohorts of students, customize resources to meet individual needs, communicate with all stakeholders both ways, an urgent need for that. They said the only effect is only going to be effective if we have a high adoption rate of at least 90% of student, faculty, of everyone. How to socialize the app into the fabric of the culture, faculty engagement, opportunities to opt in and opt out of the community. It's going to be a closed community with single sign-on. And there are questions about app usage data, where and how the app is going to be used. That hasn't been answered yet, but it was a question that was brought up. Tech updates. The campus cloud training will be coming soon. And then after that's done, they'll have weekly sync meetings after the training. Ready Ed will replace iConnect in many ways. And then eventually iConnect will not be used after the app is fully rolled out. Done.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. Any questions for Nicole? No? Okay. And Nicole, you're also next for All College Forum, but they haven't met. They didn't meet this month, right?
No, it got canceled and rescheduled for December.
Alrighty, so you're off the hook this time. All right. Marketing committee. So the chair is Justina. Nicole, have you guys met at all yet?
No, I haven't heard anything about it, so I'm not really sure what is going on with it.
No worries. All right. So, because it was like a last minute thing. So last meeting that was really new that we really got that up and running. So that's okay. That's something to work on. And the wreath decorating committee, Ren is the chair for that. And Sarah and Azu, you guys are also on that. So you guys haven't met at all, right? For that? Okay.
No.
Okay. Nikki?
Oh, I just want to let the wreath decorating club know, the committee know that I'm in a few other clubs, and I do know that Delta Alpha Pi, Theta Kappa Phi is doing one, Human Services Club is doing one, and Saga is doing one, I believe. And I did let them know about the $50 reimbursement from the SGA.
Yeah, and I'm gonna talk to Crew Club about it tomorrow. Because I haven't last meeting I wasn't there because I went to Melissa's interview. But I'm gonna talk with Crew about it this week. And something so as everybody has organizations now that they're supposed to be reaching out to, you can reach out to your organizations and ask them. So good question, Ben. Eli or Kathy, this might be something you guys can answer. Is the $50 only for registered organizations, student organizations, or any student organization who participates with a wreath?
So only registered student organizations can spend money. So yes, it would only, unless they were only going to use the $50 to create the wreath and not spend any additional funding. Because affiliate student organizations, even if they have money in their account, it cannot be spent. So if a student organization wanted to say, okay, we're just going to spend the $50 that SGA gives to us, we could do that. But if they don't have if they're not an RSO, they wouldn't have access to any other funding.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Ben, does that answer your question?
Yep.
Awesome. All right, thank you, Kathy. Okay, so I can reach out to Justina and Ren, and let them know. I just gotta, marketing. Okay, I just have to to reach out to them and let them know. Other committees that were up for discussion last week that we didn't really get to, were the recruiting. I mean, we kind of got to it. The recruiting committee and the retention plan liaison, were two extra things that I was thinking about maybe if we wanted to. I know a lot of you said that the recruiting committee you didn't think was going to be necessary between the marketing committee and between Sarah as the Constitution committee chair. So what anybody have any extra thoughts on that before we completely let go of that idea or take on that idea to have a recruiting committee? Any other discussion on that?
I mean, what would the recruiting committee do that what's the other committee that we have?
Marketing.
The marketing committee not do?
So I'm not sure. Maybe it would have something to do with like maybe extra events or something. But we can like you just said, we can basically just tie that into the marketing committee. It's just I'm pretty sure Sarah, you would have to sit on the marketing committee because you're the chair of the Constitution committee. I think that's how that would work, right, Kathy? Yeah. So you would have to sit on the marketing committee, which would be fine as long as you're okay with that. But we don't have to have a recruiting committee. It was just a thought.
Okay, that works.
Okay.
Would they be at would the meetings be at different times though?
So that depends on what Justina decides because she's the chair of the marketing committee. So it depends on what the times of the meetings are gonna be. And you guys as a group can talk about that. What would be the best time for each of you? But that's up to Justina because she's the chair.
Okay, sounds good.
And then any discussion on that at all? Or is that something that sounds like would be a good idea? Okay, so we will just completely, yeah, we will do without the recruiting committee. And Sarah, you are now a part of the marketing committee along with Ben, and Nicole and Justina as well. But you and Ben are the new members for the marketing committee. And then the second thing that I wanted to add to that is the retention plan liaison. So I know, I mean, it wasn't it was like it was a few meetings back actually. We talked about the retention plan. Missy Sargent is still wanting our input on that. And I just have been so busy and I have not had a chance to reach out to her. And I'm assuming it's going to be like an ongoing thing. So I was thinking that maybe we could have one person be the contact point with Missy to go back and forth about the retention plan and what they're doing to do that has to do with the retention plan, and then what SGA is thinking for that. Just kind of be in contact with Missy to go back and forth with what we think would be a good idea for the retention plan. I don't really have much more information than that. It's just that she still wants the SGA to be involved and she still wants student feedback. Any thoughts on that? Would anybody be specifically interested in being the retention plan liaison if we did have one? You would be, I don't know if all of you were even there for that meeting at that point because I know we hadn't had elections yet. But I think actually most of you were there for that meeting. But we had questions from Missy. I don't know if any of you know Missy Sargent, but would any of you be interested in being a contact point for that, or is that something that we don't think we need? I'm not entirely sure what that would entail. We can also table that too if we have to.
Considering I'm already the student body liaison, I don't think it would be too hard to also be the retention liaison because I am interested in what students are facing when they first start to with college, and what's preventing them from continuing if for some reason they're thinking of dropping out. And I could definitely phrase that as a, you know, your name wouldn't be used against you. It's just more of a, we want to know why students may not be staying with the college and see if there's anything we can do to fix it.
Okay. Thank you for that. That's actually not a bad idea, whereas you're already in contact with students and you can help maybe Missy help her to gather that information. Maybe any thoughts on that?
Initially, right this second, it's just, I think, being able to ask the questions and really find out from students. Obviously, in this semester, it might be a little late because we're late into this semester, and whoever is staying in this semester is going to stay through the rest of the semester. It's definitely something I feel like is going to be a little busier the first 3 weeks of a fresh semester.
Okay. I also have not talked to Missy about this. But I mean, if we decided we wanted to do that, I can connect. So Ben, if you are the prospective liaison, I can connect you and Missy in an email and say, you know, we want to be able to help still. And Ben is going to be the contact point for if she has anything she wants to bring to the SGA, any new questions or ideas or events that they're going to do. Because I think she said that they were going to try and do some focus groups and things. But anybody have any discussion on that?
I think initially what I would like as a liaison is just maybe names of students that I can get in contact with quickly or have a meeting with quickly somehow, that are, I don't want to say in danger of not continuing with the college, but that's probably the best way to phrase that is, you know, students that are not doing well in their classes or whatever the case may be, and just kind of sit down with them and say, hey, do you know about these resources? Is there anything that I can do as a liaison to assist you with anything that you're facing? And kind of bring that to the SGA/committees, and we'll go from there.
Okay. I'm not sure how that, if, as students, I'm not sure if we would actually be allowed to have access to certain information. But that is one way to get involved and to be able to reach out to students. I just don't know as students if that's if we're allowed to actually have that information. But people would hopefully be like employees would hopefully be reaching out to them as well if they're in danger in any way. I would think, I would hope. But that's a good thought. That's a good thought, Ben. Thank you.
I know another thing that was mentioned, we did the lunch meeting for feedback. Eli was there with me. We were talking about having, Eli brought this up actually, having the ability to have an advisor assigned to you through the entire semester that's checking in with you and kind of saying, hey, how are your classes going? You know, it's usually the same person that checks you into the college is what we were kind of suggesting at that point. Obviously, that's a bigger topic and we're not going to get into it, but that's kind of an idea as well.
Okay. I know Cody, you have your hand up. But moving back into the retention plan thing, I mean the retention plan liaison. Is there any discussion on that? I know Cody, you can say your role.
Yeah, just more onto like Ben with the lunch discussion. I was part of adult education pipeline, and when I was going through that, that was literally what we had to go through. We had an advisor that checked on all the people that she umbrellaed, that she was overseeing, all the adults over there, and we had to report back to her, and that we get constant emails. There was a constant interaction, either a once a week meeting that would have on campus, or I guess it would be now on Zoom, that just to check in and make sure that, make sure that we know there's grants available, that there's resources available, and then constant checking in. And I feel like if that system's already in place, you can easily just ape that, modify that, or seek to implement that across the greater college. I think it's a good idea.
Okay, thank you. So okay, any discussion on the retention plan liaison then? It sounds like that would be something like that, I mean, at least that Ben was interested in, and I mean, anybody have anything extra they wanted to add to that? Is it something that we feel like we need, or as this, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Cody?
Yeah, just generally, I think if there's problems on in a student's life that's preventing them from doing well on campus, it's usually going to show up in the grades or attendance. And usually those are the first warning signs that the campus is going to receive. Hey, I haven't talked to so-and-so in forever. Hey, so-and-so hasn't submitted any work. And sometimes it's just a ghost town, but other times is usually a reason. And if there's any way to get that reasoning back and have that be useful information for us, or probably for the campus as a whole, it's worth having someone having an ear on board.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have anything? Sarah, Azu, Eli, Nikki, anybody have any input on that?
I think it does make sense to combine it, the student body liaison and the like retention liaison. Just because that's the person that works with students the most. It really
Right.
makes
Yeah.
sense for it to be one person, and I think Ben would be a good representative of that.
Okay.
That's true. I agree with what Nikki said. Also, because I feel like people will be more comfortable perhaps to open up to that person if they're already opening up to them about other stuff as the student liaison. I think that would work too. The only thing is though, I thought, don't you get like don't you already get like some sort of like report like in the middle of the semester, something like that? Aren't you like in
Nope.
good standing, or like if you're failure of being in not good standing? I don't know, it was something like
Early
that. Or
warning?
am I wrong? Yeah, isn't that already?
That per student, yes. So like I got a report for myself saying how I'm doing, but I don't
Right.
see a report for how anyone else is doing.
Right. Oh, right. Yeah, that's what I meant. Okay.
Yeah, I see
But-
those, all the veterans, I get to see that. I get privy to that, but that's just because of my work study position.
Well, thank you for your input. I appreciate that. Azu, did you have anything else that you wanted to add? I think I heard from everybody else.
I was going to agree with Nikki and Sarah after I heard what Sarah had to say. I was kind of thinking what Sarah was thinking, but I didn't know how to articulate it.
Okay. Great, thank you. Okay, so is that something that we feel like we want to move on with? By show of hands, and I can make a motion to make that a committee. Do I have to make a motion to make that a committee? No? Okay, I guess I don't have to do that. All right, so let's make that a committee then, the retention plan. Oops, I'll just make a note on that so I can add that to the agendas. But we do have to vote for the chair, right? We do have to vote for Ben being the chair of the, or no, we don't have, we don't have a chair, it's not a committee. The retention plan liaison, we have to vote for him to be the liaison.
No, you can just make that appointment.
Oh, okay. Cool beans. Ben, I appoint you as the retention plan liaison.
Woo!
Awesome. Okay, so I will get you in contact with Missy, and we can bring up that conversation again for the next meeting. I know we did talk about it, but I don't think we had everybody at that point. But I think Justina, I mean, if we go back through the minutes, there should be a section where we talked about that, where we have notes from what we talked about, so we can go back and look through that. You can go back and look through that, but I'll get you in touch with Missy and see what she wants us to do to move forward. But awesome. All right, so external reports, leadership team. Jason, do you have anything?
I don't have too much to report. Just want to thank everybody for their participation in NECHI. For those who were able to attend, that's really all we've been thinking and talking about. And I want to appreciate some of the comments that folks have made from the conference. I took away a lot of different ideas, including allergy and different type of dietary restrictions in the cafeteria. We're working on that piece already. And we're in the process of switching out vending machines to new vending machines. So we're working on that. But we haven't had a leadership team since our last SGA meeting because of the NetGE visit. So I'll have more to report next time.
Great, thank you. And Candace is not here. Oh, and I know this is like totally late, but for advisors, we have Kathy and Jason today. For when we do the minutes. Or when Justina does the minutes. But old business. Cody, do you want to give a Ron Jones update? I know like everybody got the thing, so I guess it's not necessary, but I don't know if you heard anything extra other than the quote.
No. I did have a quick talk with Kathy. I think maybe, do you have anything more to add, Kathy? I know we had a talk with you about more of the price side. I don't know, that's the quote talking about it, but I don't know if you heard anything.
No, so I would suggest that SGA form a committee, lots of committees, so that you just have a small group of you that actually facilitate pulling this event together, or multi-day event, and that you can just pretty much pull it all together, that group can connect with some other resources on campus to help with the funding, and then just bring it forward to SGA, a proposal, or kind of a plan, so that, you don't, because you don't need to really discuss it completely in the SGA meetings. I will say that his quote that he gave us, the $4,250 for 2 days, is a very reasonable quote. And I think that we don't need to negotiate with him at all on that. I think that's not a problem. And I don't think we're going to have difficulty getting funding from some other departments on campus.
Yeah, thank you, Kathy. That's something I wanted to mention that as well, and then I totally spaced it. It's in my notes later on for the meeting because I didn't add it until after I sent out the agenda. But I think we should definitely make a committee. Well, we can call it the I don't know. We can call it the Ron Jones Events Committee. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. The Ron Jones Committee, or the I don't know. The event committee. I'm just throwing out names. I don't know. But I think we should definitely have a committee specifically for Ron Jones in the his visit and his events. Any thoughts on that?
If it's all right, if we're sitting at the committee, sorry, I didn't mean to scare anybody. I would like to offer myself up to lead this committee. If we're going to agree to have it set up, and I'm welcome to anybody come join me. We can work out times if that's something you want to do. Put some bones and meat on the structure, and hopefully have an awesome event that not only supports our boy Ronnie, but everybody else at the campus.
As the student body liaison, I would definitely be interested in seeing how that event is being planned out, so I can then tell students what's to come and get them excited.
Yeah, so I definitely, if while we're doing that, does everybody agree that this is going to be a committee? I definitely 100% think that this is an idea, because in order to make this smoothly, the whole SGA probably, unless everybody wants to be part of it, it should not be something we're trying to hash out at the SGA meetings. We have to have a separate meeting for that, just because there's going to be a lot that goes into making it successful. So I think we should everybody on board with making that a committee.
What's
I
the
agree.
argument for being committee? Just because it will eat up times in the SGA meeting?
I think it
Is
would
that
just
the
be,
argument?
I think it would, so to make it a committee would be ideal because something I'm going to talk about after is we want to try and make our meetings a little bit more streamlined. So each of the committees have their own meeting time, so then when we come into the SGA meetings, it's a quick like
Does Cody need help doing this? I mean, he's been doing pretty well up until this point by himself. I don't know.
well,
Like-
I'm thinking, so in my opinion, I'd like to see obviously Cody be the chair because he's in the most communication with Ron. I'd like to see Ben on that committee if possible. I'd like to see at least one person from the marketing committee be on that be on the Ron Jones committee as well. Like Nikki even because that I just feel like to have the marketing committee, the student body liaison, and Cody as the chair, all working together. For this, I feel like that would be huge. Obviously Cody's going to be the, like I said, Cody would obviously be the chair for that just because he is in that communication with Ron already, even outside of the committee.
I'm
But
just trying to figure out whose idea this is. Like, if Cody is doing the Ron Jones thing, is he requesting this committee? Like, whose idea is
No.
this?
That would be my idea just in terms of like because of our two, we're having, I know everybody has busy schedules and everything, but 2-hour meetings is getting exhausting for a lot of us. I know because Justina's got it, a lot of people on the call have kids that they got to put to bed, they got to leave early for whatever reason. Like schedules are just, it's hard for everybody to be on here between 6 and 8 o'clock. That's a long meeting, especially after Jason and Kathy have had and even Candace, they've had a long day of work and everything. To be on here this late is not fair to them too.
Yeah,
as
I'm just
well.
asking
So-
what is the necessary, like, what is the reason behind needing the committee? Like, just be time? Like, I don't understand what's going to be accomplished at the committee.
It's just to have a designated group of people to work on it. Like so anybody who really wants to be invested in working on it will have like the like specific people working together like to make it a success. So it's not we don't have to talk about it for like the whole meeting on for our regular meetings because all of the information is being talked about in the committee meeting itself. So the committee would meet separately, come up with all the details and ideas that they have for the event, and then when they have things that are like finalized as an idea, then they would bring it back so it's not like we're trying to hash it all out right here right now during the SGA meeting. It'd be something that's already pre-done and coming into the meeting as information, not like an
Discussion.
idea to work off of, if that makes sense.
I just haven't heard
Nikki?
any reasons like why we even need a committee. Like, I don't hear any reason other than, like, it feels like it's just, he already does this on a lot of campuses. Like, shouldn't he be putting this together? I mean, isn't that what we're paying for?
No, so
And then Cats can figure out like the setup and stuff. Like, what is the committee accomplishing that we don't already do for other talks and speakers that come to the campus? Why do we need a special committee for this one person?
So I think the difference, and Nikki and Cody, you guys will speak next. But just real quick to answer that is because it's different. SGA is specifically supporting this event. And that's kind of, we want it to be like, I mean, we obviously support the other events, but that's more of like a Cats thing. And Cats, the programming team is still going to help us. I'm sure they're still going to help us, but it's an event that SGA is bringing in. So we can kind of tell the students like, hey, we're here. This is something that we put on. We are here for you. We want you to be comfortable. Like kind of stuff like that, I guess. And we want it to be like, it's not different than a regular event, but it is at the same time. I don't know if that makes sense exactly, but Nikki, I know you had your hand up.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree with me. I actually want to be on the committee because an event this size, it's not just a simple event we're having for a couple hours. This is a 2-day event we're putting on. And there's a lot of moving parts that comes with making sure that it's put together the right way. It needs to be organized properly, or it'll just be a complete train wreck. It'll look like it's just thrown together, no one cares. And honestly, especially with the topics that he's going to be talking about, I think it really deserves a committee and some undivided attention to make sure that it does go well. Like, this is going to also reflect back on SGA. This is something that we supported. So we want to make sure that we're putting our best foot forward when we're presenting this.
Thank you, Nikki. And Cody?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Neil, but it seems like it would boil down to why not just put this on cats, right? Why is it deviation from standard procedure? Why isn't this just a cats thing and then SGA leads the path and then put it on the desk?
Yeah, that, and also like what special expertise is this committee actually going to have? Is this just people who are interested, or is it actually like people who have put on a ton of events and they know what they're doing, they're bringing expertise to make this go smoothly? Or is it just enthusiasm that's this committee is behind?
I obviously can't speak for everybody here, but me and Chloe put on SGA week, and we didn't have a committee that time around. And even something as simple as setting up booths and setting other stuff was way more involved and required a lot of extra hours outside of the SGA meetings and bi-weekly communal meetings. And we had to meet multiple times to not only get the structure of the event and get everybody in the same room, make sure the tables are organized. It just took a lot more effort that I don't feel a lot of people who are currently with us are willing to donate in SGA meetings or even outside of. And this one is aiming to be even larger than that, because there was talks about getting local bands. I know Ron brought up like bringing local communities together and having them have opportunities to shine in. That's going to require someone to be in contact with those businesses and, like Kathy said earlier, like negotiate percentages. That is something that the SGA can do when dealing with outside businesses, and a lot of that requires talking outside talking of these meetings. And so it's not only just a time issue for SGA, but I also feel it's a commitment issue and, like you said, enthusiasm issue, that if you're really enthusiastic about this, you can. And if you're not, you're kind of like in the wing waiting, you can still help, but you're not expected to go out and reach, where in the committee, you might be more expected to. I don't know if that clarifies, or I just said a bunch of word salad.
No, thank you, Cody. And I know I see Ben's hand too, but oh man, I totally lost what I was just gonna say. Something you just said. Oh, with the with regards to the SGA week, that's something we held in the spring. That I think out of this group, I think it was just me and Cody. Sarah might have been in the process of coming into SGA, I think. But that was definitely, I feel like if we had a committee and had spent all that extra time, like I feel like with this event, like because a lot of times we look at it and be like, because we look at cats, and then unless you're on cats, you don't know what all of the work that goes into like setting up for things. So if he's coming in, we have to make sure, if SGA is sponsoring it, we have to do all that the cats team does. Like we have to make sure we reach out to, like, and say if we need, I don't know if we're gonna need a stage or a microphone or anything like that. But like that's something that the committee would have to talk about. Is that something that they're gonna need? Do they have to set up? The communication is gonna be a huge thing. We didn't think about any of that for SGA week. It was like more of like little things here and there. I feel like we could have definitely planned that differently had we had spent specific time planning it. But Ben, did you have something?
Yeah, so I just wanted to quickly mention that I think it's because the SGA is throwing this event and we're the ones kind of coming up with it, it's kind of on us to also plan the event. We shouldn't expect cats to take over something that we basically came up with when we're kind of above cats in a way. The other thing is that you're right, who wants to be on this committee and why. For me personally, I throw an event every 6 months and I do everything. I do the planning, I do the contact, I talk to businesses, I talk to everyone and trying to get the schedule set up so that everyone's on the same page as to what's happening when. And even then, me setting up everything by myself, which is a lot for 20, 30 people that I'm trying to contact, is still something goes wrong. So I think having more than one person working on something this big, even if it's only 2 days, is going to be a phenomenal difference than just throwing it at cats and being like, okay, you guys deal with it.
Yeah, I also I'm sorry, I almost just called Nikki Kathy. I'm not sure why I just did that. But Nikki also mentioned that she used to have her own nonprofit and organized all of her own events as well. So to have Nikki be part of why did I just do that? I'm sorry, I totally don't know what just happened right there. I am not tech savvy. I apologize. I'm not sure what happened right there. I just kind of lost you guys for a second. But I feel like to have, the main, like the chair, the main contact be Cody, and then because I obviously his communication is very well known with Ron Jones, but also like is very good at communicating with other like if we had community members coming in and everything and different organizations, like something that we would want the committee to do is like once we have this committee up and running, which it sounds like most of us want to, so we'll still talk about that. But if the committee was to get up and running, we need that committee is now in charge of reaching out to the Brewer Center, reaching out to Access in Transition, reaching out to say the president's office, and stuff like that. That would be on the committee's job, not trying to it's not like, so basically on the committee is going to be people who want to work on this event and who are going to be like committed to working on the event, because the rest of us have other responsibilities throughout SGA as well. Not saying that they don't, the committee does not, but their specific job is going to be focused on that for a little
Could
bit.
the
if that makes
marketing
sense.
committee like pick this up?
Huh?
Like, could it be under the marketing committee also?
So
It's
that's what
just,
I
I
was
think
saying.
it's like redundancy a little bit. Like we're creating all these extra committees all the time, and the marketing committee hasn't even met. Or
No, so the marketing committee has not met yet because that was like as of last week. Not last week, the last meeting. And that was kind of a rushed thing, I guess, because of last week's meeting ran really long. And we're also kind of on that track at the moment. We're running a little bit long. But that's what I was saying is for the chairs, Cody for communication, Ben is the student body liaison. He knows or should be finding out what the students want, what works best for them. He'll communicate that with marketing. Nikki's on the event committee. She's on the marketing committee. So she can be the one who's in charge of marketing for the event. So stuff like that.
yeah, I say hand it off to the marketing committee and let Cody be involved with that, and then you can handle a lot of events at the marketing committee.
But I feel like to have a specific event, I mean, because we're not hosting any other events right now. To have a specific committee, and actually Eli, as you're working with finances, you'd probably want to be on the committee as well. I mean, because that would come from our funding, for a lot of it, probably. But just to have like a specific committee is only a temporary committee for the event. And then once, oh, Jason has to head off. But thank you for saying, Jason. Have a good night. And so Kathy, did you have something you wanted to mention?
Yeah, so can I just talk a little bit about, I've been doing events in this position for 8 years now.
Mhm.
Part of CCSLA, which is who hosted the event last week, we are large organization, run similar to SGA. We have a marketing committee, but we also have a conference committee. Their job is to plan that individual conference. That's all they do, is just the conference. It was a whole committee that put that conference together last week. When you have a big event of this size, and this is a big event, a 2-day event, and it's not, we're paying him to come in, but we're planning the schedule. He's coming in and we're saying, okay, you're going to go here, you're going to go here, you're going to go there. This is what you're going to do. He's telling us what he's bringing the content. We're building the schedule. There's a lot of moving parts. So it's not, you can't just say, oh, the marketing committee can do this. This is a one-time event, one short committee. It's not an annual committee. This committee is set up just for this event. And as Ben said, there's a lot that needs to happen that people that don't plan events realize. There's just a lot of things. And having a committee specific to this, even coming down to at the events throughout the 2 days, who's gonna be with Ron through and bring him to the different places he needs to go to. He's not familiar with our campus. Who's going to greet visitors and guests, and there's a lot that needs to happen. It's not just, oh, okay, yeah, Cody's in contact with him, we're going to tell him to come, and it's all just going to happen. So just so you know, I mean, this isn't unusual to create a committee just for this event. That's the norm when you in organizations, is when you have a big event that's going to happen, you have a committee that oversees that event.
Sure. What's the marketing committee doing right now, though? That's like taking up the space of their time that they couldn't do this.
Well, the
And
marketing
also-
committee should be focusing more on recruiting for SGA and getting word out about SGA. That's their general marketing committee, but they're not the person that they're not the ones that have reached out to Ron. They're not the ones that are going to reach out and get funding for the event. Their specific job is marketing about SGA in general. So yes, then when the committee says, oh, we need to market this, now they go to the marketing committee and say, okay, this is the event. These are all the details. Can you help us figure out how to market this? That's one small piece of creating an event marketing. Just a portion of it.
Thank you, Kathy. So all that being said, does anybody have any other questions, anything regarding that? Do we want to, I think it would be highly beneficial to create the event committee. Anything? Sarah, as you guys have been quiet.
Oh yeah, I agree. It's a good idea to make it. It takes a lot of effort to plan an event.
Okay. Ben, Cody, Nikki, Eli.
I mean, that was just my question to begin with. Like, who has the enthusiasm to do it? I mean, if they want to show up, I don't want to be a part of it. That's all. Like, I have other things to do. Another committee just seems like a lot more meeting, a lot more time. And Cody was handling it so well, and we were talking about it overlapping with our other meetings. It just seemed like we're making it more complicated when it seemed to be going fine. But if you need it, then why not? I just was hoping that since Cody is the primary person behind this, that he would be bringing the idea, and he has a idea of what is going to be happening at these meetings. But if he does, then I have no problem with it.
Cody, did you have anything you wanted to add on that?
Yeah, I'm more than capable of crafting this and sitting down. I've had experience doing this. I can do this, but I also think it's a valuable experience for people here on this board who've never, they've planned meetings, but it's also for this campus to look back on this. I also feel like it's an experience that people may want to have. If everyone stayed silent and is like, hey, like you said, I got stuff to do, I really don't have time to this, or I'm not interested, that's fine. I was already in contact with Ron. I was already planning on doing this. I am with this committee opening the floor for other people who may be interested or have talents they think they could bring. This is the time and place to do it. And for other people who are not interested, this is what I think it's important to have as a committee, that it doesn't feel like it's pressure for other members, that they can say, hey, I have other stuff I have going on, or I'm not that interested in the topic. Hope it's going to go well. They can just have the pressure to not, feel like they need to join this or dedicate more time than they feel like they need to.
Thank you, Cody. Sarah?
I was just gonna say how, I mean, it's gonna be like an SGA thing, so I feel like it would be a little unfair to just kind of like dump it all on Cody. Although he would be more than capable of, handling it by himself, I feel like he should have some sort of support too,
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I feel like as SGA, not everybody has to do it because I know a lot of people have a heavy load on them right now, but anybody who is interested in making this like event, like helping Cody to organize the event and put it on, yeah, is like, would that be something that any of you would be interested in? I know Nikki said you would be. Sarah, Ben, did you guys have anything?
I'm interested in helping Cody and Nikki. That's all.
Okay.
When would the event be? It would be in February, right?
So I don't know. Is that something that was wait, yes. I had to think about that for a second.
Yeah,
February 8th and
the
9th
9th.
are the dates.
Okay,
So
I mean, I'd love to help be part of the committee. I just right at the very moment right now, I have a really heavy plate, but maybe like in December or in January, I would have more space to join the committee. So maybe right now, not necessarily for me personally, but like in January and February, early February, if you guys need help, I can definitely help. Part of the committee.
So
Yeah,
Sarah, like I'm just gonna throw oops, sorry, Azu. But Sarah, that's okay. You can say no. If you have a heavy course load, I totally get it. It's okay to say no to that. I just asked you because your hand was still up, so I didn't know if that was something that you were interested in.
Oh yeah, sorry, I just forgot to lower my hand.
It's okay. Azu?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, when would you guys start meeting and for how many meetings do you think that this committee would have or subcommittee would have?
Going off of our previous experience and what I've learned from them, I'm gonna say maybe 4 or 5 official like hourly meetings.
Yeah.
And probably a lot of Google docking where we just like leave notes for each other and stuff like that. But I'll say 4 or 5, maybe more, less, depending on how go-getter we are or how long those meetings are. Keep one going forever.
Like starting this month?
After today, I'm gonna send out an email. So if I have all your information. So if you're interested, just send it to me and we can start working that out literally tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as Sarah. There's a lot going on right now, but I think later this semester I'll be able to help out with that.
So I'm just gonna also throw this out there. If you are like, you don't have to be on the planning committee. So when the event comes, you can be there, and I expect that most of the SGA should be there at the event to be able to help out during the event. Right now the committee is just for like the planning aspect of it. So there will always be opportunity to help. Like there will always be an opportunity to help. But for right now, I need to know like who would be interested in doing that like right now and who's available to do that right now. Because obviously I do not want to overwork anybody. Because I've been there, and so I do not want that to happen to my peoples. That is and it's a really bad feeling. So if you know that you cannot do it, do not do it. But I know Nikki and Ben, you guys both showed interest in that, and Cody as well. So would we want to make you guys the committee?
I like the title. I like the committee. Sounds intimidating. I'm down.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna move forward on that. Anybody have a specific name for that committee? We can't just call it the committee because then that's not gonna, nobody's gonna know what that is on the agenda.
There's a Disney movie called Ron's Go Wrong. Let's go Ron's Go Right.
That's a long title.
We'll workshop it, maybe in committee.
Okay. Well, just for now, we'll just put it as the Ron Jones event committee, I guess, and we can change that after. But just for the sake of,
I
Oh,
think Ron
thank
Jones
you.
Event Committee is fine.
huh?
Ron Jones
Yeah.
Event Committee is fine.
Okay, awesome, great. I'm gonna Jones event committee. Great. All right. So the chair is gonna be Cody, and Ben and Nikki are gonna be on it, as well as the student body liaison and the marketing committee liaison for that as well. But just in general, like that's gonna be our group for this right now. And as we go on, if anybody feels that they can help out, you can contact Cody. I'm sure he can have you help out in some way. A few other things that are on the agenda that I'm going to table again are solutions for conflicting events. That's going to be tabled. Is that something that we really feel like, I mean, I know that students have, I feel bad because I know people have definitely been saying that that's something that they struggle with, is they don't like the conflicting events. But maybe that's something like we can talk about. Yeah, we'll table that for now. Just it's getting a little bit late. Vending machine was talked about by Jason. Adopt an organization. Is everybody okay with that? Has everybody been able to reach out to their organizations? If not, we'll start. I have not. So this week I'd like to get that started. Everybody start reaching out to their organizations. I know Nikki, I know you already have, which is awesome, and I know Eli has. So for those of us who have not yet done so, please start reaching out, because I just went out in the Monday email that they will be receiving Ben, you don't have any? Okay, well, why don't we can also, yeah, we'll also talk about that, because if somebody has like 5 and somebody has none, we will readjust there. I can probably give you one of mine if I mean, I'm obviously the contact for crew, but I'm not really in musicians at the Mount anymore, but we'll talk, Ben. But anybody who has their organizations, definitely start reaching out if you haven't already. The Netchi site visit, they're here right now. Well, not right now, but they're until tomorrow they're here. So tomorrow they're having a meeting on what yeah, tomorrow's Wednesday. They're having a meeting at 10:30. It's me from 10:30 to 12. It's the exit report. So if you can make it, that would be wonderful. It is hybrid, so you can join online if you have to. Let's see. I'm just trying to see what I got going. Yeah, so I think that's it for Netchi information. There was no new business.
I have new business. I don't know. Was I supposed to propose it somewhere?
Yeah, so well, yes and no. So if you wanted something to be on the agenda beforehand, I was asking that anybody who has anything for the agenda, let me know at least, like at the latest, by the Wednesday before our next.
I found out about this today, I guess, so I couldn't have done that.
Okay, that's fine. You can, yeah. What
Well,
you got?
before I talk about my new business, I was wondering if I could get on the record who is actually on the Ways and Means Committee,
Yes, give me
because I
2 seconds.
think Corey was on it and he's no longer on it, so we need another member.
I'm also on it.
So it's Eli, you're the chair. We have Nicole, Ren, and Cody. And do we need a fifth member for Ways and Means, or is that Constitution Committee? Because actually, there are only 4 on Constitution. There are only 3 on Constitution Committee because Mindy is no longer going to be on the SGA, right?
Correct. Hang on. I gotta look at the SGA bylaws. But I have
Okay,
it
well, that's going
right.
on. I just wanted to bring up, like, someone came to me, a student and a library staff, about the possibility of expanding the cycling classes offered by the fitness center. They said they were offered in the morning and in the evening, and that they both, from a staff point of view and a student point of view, would like to jointly collaborate with at least 8 other students interested in like a 12:30 cycling class once a week. And they were seeing if that was a possibility. I talked to Kathy about if intramurals would be the go-to, but that's kind of defunct since they haven't been doing anything with the ping pong table tournaments that no one shows up to, the pool tournaments nobody shows up to. So intramurals is kind of like a no-go, and maybe we could reach out to the fitness center directly saying their support. Kathy also mentioned that we used to offer like trial kind of classes once a week, like yoga alternating with cycling, just to get people involved. And I think maybe we could bring it back a little bit, like maybe people could show up to a few cycling classes or at least a couple to see if they like it. And I think this would work twofold. Maybe staff and students could get involved, talk of meeting place, but also, it could boost membership. Like it could realistically bring money to the fitness center. So I think this student had a great idea. And you guys know me, if any student or group has an idea, I'm going to support it. I don't think we should be making agendas or our own policies. We have to bring the students' interest first. That's why I was advocating for more money to give to the students, for them to decide what they want to do. It's not for us, it's the students and their desire. And there's a big push behind this. And I was surprised that the faculty and the staff are actually willing to go, and like themselves they're interested in. And they made the point of like fitness is also a huge benefit to mental health. There's also they on the down low, you can actually request mental health passes to go to the fitness center, but this would also be a benefit from that point of view. But like if you could go somewhere, meet staff, hang out, and I know personally from the Marine Corps, if you exercise with other people, you dig deep. You push yourself a little bit extra, and you want to show up again. You want to collaborate and cooperate and see everybody be healthier and happier. So I don't see how this idea could fail. I just want to support it and see if anybody has input to make this a reality for the student and the staff member interested.
Okay, thank you. Sarah?
A student also came to me too to talk to me about that. So I just wanted to say that too.
Okay, thank you. Cody?
Yeah, for my journalism class, I went to meet with Noel, and I was involved with Silver Sneakers for a day. I did the full exercise with the routine. I talked to a lot of people who go to these programs, like the cycling classes, Silver Sneakers, and that use fitness. And like Eli's saying, it's not just like, yeah, I go there to work on my glutes, right? It's also a meeting place where these people get a lot of contact they normally wouldn't get to. They meet a lot of friends. I had someone tell me how that they came here first for physical therapy, but they kept going after physical therapy. They no longer needed physical therapy. They came there specifically to hang out with their friends that also went there. So literally anything I can do to help.
Great. Okay. So that's definitely something that would be cool to move forward with for discussion. But considering it's 10 of 8, it's getting very late. I think we should definitely so everybody here goes to everybody will be probably going to the committee meetings, including myself now, because we have to fill the committee the different committees. And Kathy, are you going to speak on that?
So yeah, 2 things. So in regards to the fitness center, I was thinking about, after our conversation, Eli, I think I'm going to connect you with the person who does our intramurals to see if she's willing to facilitate coordinating a cycling class. So maybe you can reach out to the student or students or whoever to find out maybe which day of the week works best. Because if, she says, okay, we can get a cycling class on Tuesday, but this person says, oh, I need to do it on Wednesday, I'm not here on Tuesdays, then that's not going to work. So if we find out what day of the week the people that are interested are looking at, then she can go back to the fitness center and say, okay, can we make this work? So let's start. I'm thinking let's start with that to see, because then it's a free class that a student wouldn't have to pay for either if it's in intramurals. If we just go to the fitness center and say, can you do this? Then a student would need a membership if it's not part of intramurals. So I'm thinking that might be the best bet for that. And then as far as the committee meetings, the committees, I just looked, and Ways and Means is the treasurer, the trustee, and 3 other appointees, and Constitution Committee is the vice president and a minimum of 3 other appointees. So 5 for Ways and Means and 4 for Constitution.
Okay, thank you. So we need one more person on Constitution Committee, because right now it is with the loss of Mindy, it's now gonna be Sarah, Ben, and Azu, and we need one other person. And then Ways and Means is Eli, Nicole, Ren, and Cody, and we need one other person. I can sit on one of the committees as well, or even both, I guess, but we're missing. Who are we missing? We're missing.
Justina isn't here.
Justina. So okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put Justina on one, and I'll put myself on one.
I was gonna volunteer to go to the other one as well, just so I can sit on both, and I'll be there anyways. It's not like it's taking more time out of my day. I'm gonna be there anyways.
No, that's okay. I think whoops, I'm not sure what happened. My mouse does this weird thing where it just freezes, and I don't know why. So I think what I'm gonna do. Oops, I didn't mean to do that either. Oh my gracious. All right, don't ask me to do anything technical related, guys. Just don't do it. It's not gonna end well. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sit on the Constitution Committee, and I'm gonna have Justina sit on the Ways and Means Committee, just so Ben, you don't have to do anything extra, really, because you're already doing a lot, which I appreciate. That's awesome. But I don't want you to get burnt out, because like I said, I've been there, and I don't want any of that to happen to you guys. So I'll do Constitution Committee, and Justina I've appointed to Ways and Means Committee. So it's gonna be Constitution Committee is now Sarah is the chair, Ben, Azu, and myself. And then Ways and Means, Eli is the chair. And then Nicole, Ren, Cody, and Justina. Any questions on that? Okay. Moving back down to yes.
I just have one comment. If Justina's already having trouble showing up to meetings, if you're going to be there for the committee meeting, like Ben said, they overlap. I don't think there was even 2 meetings. We were kind of like coinciding. So I think one person could do both. Just to eliminate if she's having trouble showing up to these meetings, not overburden her with more meetings. If you're willing to show up, I think you should show up to both.
Okay. Thoughts on that? Ben, do you really want to be on the Ways and Means Committee?
Yeah, I think it'll be beneficial.
Okay. So I'll just. Okay. So instead of Justina, I'm gonna have Ben sit on the Ways and Means Committee. Because Eli, you do bring up a good point. With Cooper, things have been a little bit difficult. And she does a lot too. So, we'll do that, and we'll see how that beneficial. Oh my gracious, Cody, that's crazy. Having Ben on the Ways and Means Committee is beneficial. That was in the chat, just for anybody rewatching the recording. All right. So for the new business that Eli you just brought up, so regarding the fitness center and trying to get the spin classes, so you're gonna you and Kathy can work together on that and reach out to the oh my goodness, I can't say it, intramural.
Intramurals, yeah.
Thank you. Okay, all right. I was like having trouble saying that. I don't know why.
I've just read the club a million times, so I cheated. I know I know the
Okay.
words, the letters in it.
But you'll work together with the advisor from that, and you guys can give us an update at the next meeting. Does that sound like a plan?
Yeah, I'm glad Kathy thought about it, and the free class is, I was trying to sell it to the fitness center, like this would boost membership, but maybe if they're involved in going to the fitness center, they would just it would bleed into their wanting to go more to the fitness center, so.
Yeah. Alrighty. Okay, so for announcements, one thing that's not on the agenda that I did want to mention, is that I kind of mentioned earlier, is that knowing everybody has busy schedules, we want to try and streamline the meetings. So something I'm thinking of doing, that I actually would like to put in place starting now, for any of the meetings going forward. So anybody who has to give a report on a committee, please write out the reports that you have, so we can all review that ahead of time, and then when we come to the meetings, we can kind of like, that can just be an opportunity, like if there's anything really really important that you wanted to emphasize, you could talk about that, but more so like if anybody had questions on it, we could talk about that at the meeting, but not necessarily going through the whole rundown. Like Cody and Nikki, I appreciate you guys typing out your reports. That's huge, especially for Justina, because then she can just take the file and attach it to the agenda. Not She doesn't even have to copy and paste it. She can just attach the report right in the agenda, which is right in the email that she sends the minutes, not agenda. Oh my gosh. Um, but I feel like that would be very helpful, beneficial, as if we all got the reports ahead of time and could look at them before the meeting. So when we come into the meeting, we're all ready to go. And it might make things quicker. And having the Ron Jones. Oh, I don't get that. Oh wait, I don't know what I just. The chat is confusing me. Even more than I'm already confused. But but I feel like with the Ron Jones committee, that's gonna also streamline our meetings a bit, because a lot of the discussion that we're gonna have regarding that will be at another time. And so then if there are any highlights or anything, then you can talk about it. Give an update as to where you are. But overall, I think that will make things so much smoother. So the different committees now should be meeting regularly at their own times. So marketing committee, the wreath committee, okay. Awesome. So the wreath decorating committee, marketing committee, Ron Jones event committee, you guys should be meeting on your own time. So then when we have our meetings for this, for our big meetings, it's already information that's set in stone. Not set in stone, but like it's easier to I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm sorry. I have a thought in my head, but I can't figure out how to put it into words. But I think you know what I mean. Like, so by having the committee, you have all of the information already,
I
basically.
think you're looking for the phrase fleshed out kind of thing.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Azu. Again, sorry everybody for having it run so late. I really feel like having these extra things is gonna help us to go a little faster. So
Thank you.
Another thing, don't forget to, as everybody's doing their spring schedules, don't forget to let Kathy know as soon as you know so we can start making our schedule for the spring for SGA. So once you have your class schedule, please let Kathy know. Our next SGA meeting, the next committee meeting is the 15th of November. At least for Ways and Means and Constitution Committee. Your other committees, your chair will be in, the committee chair will be in contact with you to start working on other committees. And then our next bi-weekly meeting is November 22nd. And is there anything else, Kathy, that I might have missed? Anybody?
Nothing real huge except for the week out, next week. We are continuing with the campus police chief interviews. So Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 12:30, if anyone is available. Those are the student sessions where you actually have an opportunity to meet and ask questions of the 3 remaining candidates. Last week, there was one interview with Deputy Chief Croto. She's the only internal candidate. These 3 are external candidates. So if you're able to go to those, unfortunately, 2 of those times conflict with events, but there's nothing we could do about that. So it is critical if you have the opportunity to help with the chief of police interviews. That would be great because they really do, the committee really does want input from across the campus. And if you can't make the 12:30, each of those days at 1:30 is a general session, an open session, but the 12:30 sessions are specific for students. So if you go to the 12:30 session, you're more likely to have an opportunity to ask questions because it's just students at those sessions.
Thank you. And another announcement that just came to me, Jeremy, this is his second meeting with us. So after today, he can officially write the SGA letter. If you're looking to continue with SGA as an elected member, Jeremy, you can write a letter to us saying kind of basically, hi, my name is Jeremy. This is what I want to join SGA for, and kind of just express your interest in joining SGA. And at our next meeting, we can officially appoint you as a member of the SGA.
I'll write a letter to you.
You will?
No,
Are
to
you-
you, right?
That was a question
Oh.
to you, to address
I'm
you.
sorry. Yes, my bad. All right, thank you. You can write it to me. I'm pretty sure.
All right. And I should just say why I need to be part of the ASGA and whatever.
Yeah. So like kind of just like a why that you're interested in joining the SGA, kind of a bit about who you are.
Mhm. Right. Like
Yeah.
tell about myself.
It can be brief, Jeremy. It doesn't have to be extensive. Just
Yeah, it
like,
doesn't
hey,
have
I'm
to- it doesn't have to
Jeremy.
be a long
This
thing.
is. You could just say,
Okay.
this is when I started school. This is my major. This is what I'm interested in.
Yeah, kind of like
You pick one. It doesn't have to be everything.
Yeah.
a written elevator speech.
All right.
Mhm.
All right.
Kathy, did you want to say something?
I was just gonna say, just very short, just a couple, maybe 2 paragraphs, if even that, just,
Yeah, I wasn't even
who
thinking.
you are, why you want to be on the SGA. And send that to
All right.
Chloe. And then at the next meeting, you do need to be there, but then she'll share that with the rest of the SGA and they can vote to
The
appoint.
letter?
Just a short
Email.
email.
Okay.
Yep.
And when should I write the email?
You can write it anytime and send it off to Chloe.
Okay.
You can do it
What
tonight.
does it do?
Make sure Jeremy has your email though.
He
Um,
does, yes, because I sent him the link originally because we met at the pizza with the president event.
I would
Yeah.
I would say get the letter to Chloe before our next SGA meeting, which is 2 weeks from now. So that way
Yeah.
we can vote on it 2 weeks from now.
All right.
Yeah, like the sooner the better would probably be ideal.
Mm-hmm. All right.
But you do technically have that 2 week period.
All right.
But I just wanted to throw that out there just so you know. But other than that, there are no other announcements, I'm pretty sure. Going once.
So the
going-
next meeting is the 22nd.
Correct. Yes. Awesome. Anything else? If not, I'm gonna let you all go. No? All right, I
No.
call this meeting. Was that something? No.
No, I should just send out. Nothing
Okay.
else.
So I call this meeting to adjourn at 8:06 p.m. Thanks for hanging in there this long, everybody.